Let's talk to Tim Harrison. He's the Head of Wealth Management at Linear Investments. Very good morning to you, young Tim.
Good morning.
Right, Mike Ashley's hit the headlines this morning. If I was a Newcastle fan, I wouldn't be particularly happy. What on earth's going on there in the retail sector?
Well, the Opportunist has struck, one would suggest.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been the toing and froing over the management ownership of House of Fraser for some time. Quite simply, they let it go into administration. 82 minutes later, Mike Ashley goes, here's a bundle of cash, let me have the business. Which, in reality, was always going to be the case if it got to the 11th hour, which it did. However, this morning there is reports in the paper suggesting that many are asking him to dip further into his pocket and cover a few of the liabilities so that the mom and pop don't get wiped out. But
in terms of him being a businessman, that's very different to him having a moral compass point that's...
Well, that's the argument. Ultimately, he's a businessman through and through, and a very shrewd businessman. You can't argue with that. He's probably not a nice businessman to deal with, but he gets results for the shareholders. Ultimately, a sports shop is one of the largest companies in the UK. But what you've got here is appealing to his better nature. It's a similar situation to Philip Green with BHS. In some respects, why should he? He's going by the letter of the law. He is playing within the rules. However, hopefully, for those who have been knocked, he does come up with something.
Understood. In terms of companies reporting this week, what's caught your eye?
Well, it's getting to the end of the earnings space in the UK and also in the United States. A couple of retailers reporting in the US, Macy's, one to look out for over there. Over here, close to home, I suggest you look at Travis Perkins. Really is a further bellwether as to whether or not, they have been struggling, don't get me wrong, but if there is any continued appetite for the home building DIY space, you've got Kingfisher as well reporting. So those companies are to look out for, and that kind of bleeds into the economic data that's due out this week, where you've got inflationary figures and the employment figures in the UK, which again will give us further clarity as to whether or not Carney was right to raise rates or whether he's jumped the gun a little too early.
And in terms of FTSE 100? A little bit soft last week.
Well, to be quite frank, there is this whole story with Turkey, and we're not talking about the Christmas meat. You've got the lira is moving around. Erdogan is trying to play a game of poker with the rest of the world. At the moment, Turkey is getting hit, the market and also the currency. So that is having an effect on European markets because of the contagion effect. But hopefully, if you do see some sensibility come from Turkey, from Erdogan, then you could see the markets start to gain a bit of traction higher.
Tim, on that note, thank you very much indeed.